Just before her passing, Loretta Swit, best known to the world as Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, finally revealed the truth that fans had been waiting decades to hear. For years, rumors circulated and people speculated about why some cast members suddenly left MASH, but the real story remained hidden. No one truly knew what had unfolded behind the scenes. In her final days, however, Loretta decided to break her silence. What she shared was not only surprising, it completely changed everything we thought we knew about the show, the friendships, and the behind-the-scenes drama that never made it to the screen. What could have caused such turmoil? Stay with us as we explore the details. MASH was one of the most beloved and talked about television shows in history. It brought laughter, tears, and reflection to millions of viewers across the country, becoming a cherished part of people's lives for more than a decade. While it appeared flawless on the surface, the reality behind the cameras told a different story. Hidden beneath the smiles and scripted moments were real tensions, conflicts, disagreements, and silent frustrations that built up over the years. Most fans never saw this side of the show. Loretta Swit, who portrayed the strong yet sensitive Major Houlihan, kept these stories to herself for many years. She chose to remain silent, not wanting to speak ill of her co-stars or hurt anyone's reputation. But before she passed, she made the decision to finally reveal the truth. She spoke openly about the arguments, the intense pressure, and the deep sadness that existed beyond the applause and laughter. These unspoken realities were not part of the show's script, but they were very real. MASH was more than just a television series, it was something truly extraordinary. The show premiered on September 17, 1972, and ran until February 28, 1983, lasting over 10 years. It was inspired by a 1970 film, which itself was based on a 1968 book about 3 army doctors serving during the Korean War. The show sought to tell the story of war through a unique blend of humor and heartbreak. In one moment, it could leave viewers laughing out loud, and in the next, it could bring them to tears. That was the show's unique magic, it felt authentic. The cast portrayed doctors, nurses, and soldiers simply trying to survive each day. They treated wounded soldiers and faced fear, pain, loneliness, and loss along the way. The episodes ranged from deeply serious to light-hearted and comedic, but no matter the tone, the stories always felt genuine. That authenticity is what made MASH so deeply loved. It wasn't just a show about war, it was a show about humanity. The ensemble cast was unforgettable. Alan Alda portrayed the quick-witted and sarcastic surgeon Hawkeye Pierce. Wayne Rogers played Trapper John, Hawkeye's close friend and fellow doctor. Loretta Swit brought to life Major Houlihan, a character who was both tough and emotionally complex. Other memorable characters included Frank Burns, the uptight, by-the-book officer played by Larry Linville, McLean Stevenson as the easygoing Colonel Blake, and Radar O'Reilly, the sweet young clerk played by Gary Berghoff. Jamie Farr portrayed Klinger, who wore dresses in the hope of being discharged, while William Christopher played the kind-hearted chaplain Father Mulcahy. As the years went by, the cast evolved. Some actors left while new ones joined. When Trapper John departed, Mike Farrell stepped in as B.J. Honeycutt. After Colonel Blake's exit, Harry Morgan arrived as Colonel Potter. Frank Burns eventually left too, and David Ogden Stiers took over as Charles Winchester. Each new actor brought something fresh to the series, yet the heart of the show remained unchanged. MASH continued to feel like home to its loyal audience. Adding to its impact was the fact that many of its stories were inspired by real-life accounts from doctors who had served during the Korean War. Alan Alda wasn't just an actor on the show, he also played a key role in writing and directing many of its episodes. This personal involvement gave the show a unique and heartfelt touch that deeply resonated with its audience. When the final episode aired in 1983, titled Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen, it made television history by breaking viewership records. More people tuned in to watch it than any other TV episode at that time. For countless fans, the show's ending wasn't just the conclusion of a series, it left an emotional gap in their lives. Reports have suggested that the real reasons behind the cast's departure, according to Loretta Swit, stemmed from years of tension, unequal treatment, and growing creative frustration. Determined to shed light on the truth and honor the struggles her co-stars faced, Swit eventually spoke out. While laughter from the show filled homes across America, few realized the deeper issues of inequality and frustration simmering behind the scenes. Loretta Swit's own journey to fame had humble beginnings. She was born on November 4, 1937, in Passaic, New Jersey, into a Polish-American family. Raised by her parents, Lester and Nellie, alongside her older brother Robert, Loretta's father worked as both a salesman and upholsterer. From a young age, Loretta brimmed with energy and enthusiasm. She joined the Girl Scouts through her church and attended Pope Pius High School, where she became a cheerleader, participated in school plays, and co-captained the basketball team. After graduating, she enrolled in Catherine Gibbs School, completing her studies in 1957. Like many young women of her era, she initially took on office jobs, working as a secretary and even spending time at the United Nations. Yet, deep within her, she harbored a passion for the performing arts. Secretly, she trained as a dancer, studied acting in New York, and took singing lessons. By 1961, she was acting in prominent theater productions alongside renowned actors such as Don Rickles and Ernest Borgnine. Her dedication to the stage never wavered, and even in the 2000s, she continued performing in plays like Shirley Valentine and 6 Dance Lessons in 6 Weeks. In 1969, she moved to Hollywood, landing guest roles in popular TV shows like Gunsmoke and Hawaii Five-0, until finally securing the role that would define her career, Major Margaret, Hot Lips, Houlihan on MASH star. In the beginning, Loretta's character on MASH * was portrayed as strict, tough, and often unlikable. She maintained a secret romantic relationship with Frank Burns, whose odd and often humorous behavior made their dynamic dysfunctional. However, over time, Major Houlihan's character evolved. She became more compassionate, understanding, and began forming genuine friendships with her fellow characters. These changes made her far more relatable to viewers. Loretta remained with the show for its entire 11-season run, appearing in nearly every episode. Only 3 other actors shared that distinction. She earned 2 Emmy Awards and particularly cherished episodes that explored her character's personal life. Off-screen, she developed close friendships with co-stars such as Alan Alda and Harry Morgan. After the show ended, she and Morgan even became neighbors. Despite these bonds, not everything behind the scenes was harmonious. Alan Alda gradually emerged as the show's central figure, not only starring but also writing, directing, and shaping its direction. This increasing focus on Alda did not sit well with all cast members. Some felt overshadowed by his growing influence. Wayne Rogers, who played Trapper John, believed he was being pushed into the background. Feeling disconnected from what was meant to be an ensemble cast, he left the show after the 3rd season. Although he remained on good terms with Alda, Rogers knew it was time to move on. McLean Stevenson, who portrayed Colonel Blake, also decided to leave, yearning for greater opportunities and recognition. In time, Stevenson came to understand that the audience's affection was more for his character than for him personally, a realization that left him feeling sidelined. Loretta Swit later remarked that Stevenson felt underappreciated. His character's death on the show came as a shocking twist that left fans heartbroken, with many brought to tears by the loss. Television history witnessed a powerful moment when Larry Linville, known for his role as Frank Burns, decided to leave the show after 5 years. Linville felt that he had taken the character as far as he could. His role wasn't evolving or showing any growth, and he didn't want to find himself playing the same part repeatedly without change. Even though the character of Frank Burns wasn't particularly liked by audiences, Linville earned respect for his decision to step away. Similarly, Gary Berghoff, who played Radar, departed in the 7th season. He was getting older but was still required to portray a young, innocent character, which became a challenge for him. Along with that difficulty, he also longed to spend more time with his family. Rumors circulated that he was hard to work with, and there were times when arguments and shouting erupted on set. Despite that, Berghoff ultimately chose to walk away, prioritizing his peace of mind and family life. As the series moved forward, Alan Alda took on a bigger role in shaping its direction. He brought a deeper, more emotional tone to the show. Some fans appreciated this shift, while others felt it became too focused on Alda himself. Loretta Swit remained a loyal supporter and close friend of Alda, but not everyone in the cast shared her feelings. The strong sense of teamwork that had once defined the show slowly began to fade, and many of the actors found it increasingly difficult to carve out their own space within the series. Behind the scenes, the reality of life on set was far more complicated than what appeared on screen. The show's success was real, but it came with its own share of pressure, disagreements, and emotional strain. For the cast and crew, it was more than just a job, it was a life journey filled with moments of joy and hardship, laughter and heartache. Beneath the glamour and the powerful performances, there remained an unanswered question: what was Loretta Swit's life really like when the cameras stopped rolling? Loretta Swit's life was both strong and deeply moving. On the screen, she was known for her bold, determined, and heartfelt performances. But away from the spotlight, her story was different, one shaped by love that didn't last, personal heartache, and a profound compassion for animals. In 1983, Loretta married actor Dennis Holohan, who had appeared alongside her in the final season of MASH. Their bond seemed promising, and many believed she had finally found lasting happiness. For a while, it appeared she had. But just a few years later, in 1986, the marriage came to an end with divorce. Friends later shared that Loretta was truly heartbroken. She had deeply believed in that relationship, but sadly, it didn't work out. The pain of that breakup stayed with her quietly. Though she was admired by many, she carried her sadness with grace, rarely speaking about the divorce in public. Those close to her, however, could see the hurt she kept inside. After that marriage ended, Loretta never remarried. Some felt it was her choice, while others thought she may have been afraid of facing heartbreak again. She had been in other relationships before and after her marriage, but none of them endured. She kept her personal life extremely private, and when asked about romance in interviews, she would often smile or change the topic, as if some wounds were simply too painful to revisit. Those who truly knew her said that she loved with her whole heart, giving herself completely, but rarely receiving that same depth of love in return. Even with all her fame and success, there were times when Loretta felt deeply lonely. She longed for someone who would truly see her, love her for who she was, and stand by her side, not as a star, but as a person. Beneath the strong, confident image the world knew was a woman who wanted nothing more than to be understood, cared for, and not feel so alone. Yet through all the highs and lows of her personal life, her enduring love for animals gave her life purpose, meaning, and a special kind of fulfillment that carried her through. She was a true voice for those who couldn't speak for themselves and held a deep love for animals. Over the years, she became one of the most dedicated celebrity advocates for animal rights. This wasn't something she did for fame or attention, it was something she truly believed in with all her heart. Loretta worked closely with organizations like the Humane Society, standing up for the adoption of homeless pets, speaking out against cruelty, and opening her home to countless animals in need of love and care. Many animals that had no place to go found safety under her roof. She made sure they were protected, cherished, and given a fresh start. Those who knew her admired her bravery and compassion when it came to helping animals. She never shied away from a challenge and often used her celebrity status to bring attention to important causes. Even as she got older, she continued fighting for animal welfare, showing the world that caring for others, whether human or animal, was as significant as any role she had ever played on television. Loretta passed away on May 30, 2025. According to the police report, it was believed she died of natural causes, with no signs of foul play. For someone who had lived such a meaningful and heartwarming life, it was a peaceful and gentle way to leave the world. Her passing left fans, friends, and the entire entertainment community deeply saddened. To many, Loretta was far more than just a television star. She symbolized strength, determination, and a woman who stood firm in her beliefs. Her tireless advocacy for animals, her quiet courage through personal hardships, and her memorable role on MASH * will remain alive in people's hearts. Loretta's legacy is one of compassion, dedication, and purpose. She gave the world unforgettable performances and stood up for those who couldn't stand for themselves. Though her journey was not without struggle, she lived a life full of meaning. In the end, her greatest gift to the world was her boundless love, for animals, for her fans, and for the people she cared about. But was there a hidden side to Loretta Swit, a secret behind her success and quiet generosity? The time had come to uncover it. In the final days before her death, Loretta Swit, an Emmy Award-winning actress, shared truths she had kept hidden for nearly 50 years. Through several Instagram posts, she hinted at an old conflict with someone she had worked with on the show. Though she never mentioned the person by name, her words, and what those in the industry already suspected, made it clear she was referring to her former co-star Larry Linville. Swit and Linville portrayed romantic interests during the early seasons of the show. Her character was serious and strong, while his character was often portrayed as foolish and comedic. However, behind the scenes, their relationship was far from friendly. Swit revealed that she had been forced to work with people for years, not out of respect, but because I had no choice. She also explained that she had to reshoot many scenes because the other actor lacked focus and didn't take his work seriously. Those who worked alongside them noticed the strain between them. Swit maintained close friendships with cast members like Alan Alda and Jamie Farr but kept her distance from Linville whenever possible. When Linville left the show after its 5th season, he publicly stated that his decision was due to the lack of growth in his character. However, many believed his departure was also influenced by the ongoing tension with Swit. After Linville's exit, Loretta's character was allowed to grow deeper and earn more respect. She was given richer storylines that highlighted her strength and emotional depth, which eventually led to her winning 2 Emmy Awards. Loretta worked tirelessly to improve her character, who had initially been written as flat and one-dimensional. Swit wanted her character to feel genuine, a woman who was intelligent, strong, and facing real challenges during wartime. She frequently provided feedback to the writers, modified her lines, and shared true stories from military nurses. While some writers saw her as too demanding, others, including Alan Alda, completely supported her. Alda once described Swit as the most serious person in the room. Many said she was always dedicated to her work and held herself to high standards. Though some believed she was tough, most people respected her for improving the show with her efforts. When MASH came to an end, Swit shifted her focus to animal welfare. She founded the Sweetheart Animal Alliance, an organization dedicated to rescuing animals and spreading awareness about pet adoption. Swit didn't just lend her name to the cause, she actively visited animal shelters, organized events, and adopted pets herself. Even during her time on MASH, she would bring rescue dogs to the set to help her relax. Later in life, Swit stepped away from public attention. After undergoing heart surgery, she chose to live quietly, spending time drawing, embroidering, and caring for her pets. She occasionally shared posts on Instagram, and in May 2025, her final messages carried a more emotional tone. One touching post showed a dog by a window alongside the caption, "I don't regret anything. I just think I may have been quiet about some things for too long." Swit had always intended to pass away without fanfare, just as she had lived much of her personal life. After her death, it emerged that she had been working on an unfinished book titled Hot Lips and Heartstrings. The book was said to offer honest reflections on her years with MASH, her personal relationships, and some of the struggles she faced. She reportedly revealed how certain colleagues made her consider giving up acting altogether. Alan Alda shared a brief message after her passing, saying, "She always knew what to say and when to say it. She never said anything too much, but she never shied away from saying it." Loretta Swit is remembered for her courage and honesty. She redefined how women were portrayed on television by transforming a minor role into one that earned admiration. Even after her acting career ended, she devoted her time to giving a voice to animals in need. Though her final words were soft, they left a powerful legacy. The question remains, what were Loretta Swit and Larry Linville truly like when the camera stopped rolling? Keep watching to discover more. Years ago, in a playful and cheerful interview, MASH stars Loretta Swit and Larry Linville sat down to reflect on their roles and the experience of working together. On screen, their characters shared a complicated relationship that led to many humorous moments. Despite the jokes, the interview revealed a deep mutual respect and a spirit of teamwork between them. The host opened by teasing them about their characters' flirtatious relationship and hanky-panky. Loretta laughed, saying it was not something they usually discussed, but since it came up, she admitted that, at least for the characters, it was true. Larry, keeping a mock-serious tone, claimed he tried to keep things proper but added that their scenes were always engaging and fun to perform. Larry also offered an important insight into acting. He explained that playing a silly or exaggerated character, like his portrayal of Frank Burns, was just as authentic as playing a serious or sorrowful one. For him, acting meant using all aspects of one's personality to bring a character to life. It didn't matter whether the character was good or bad, what mattered was making them believable. To Larry, that was the essence of real acting. The two also shared memories of fellow MASH actor McLean Stevenson, who played Henry Blake. They joked about avoiding saying his name but then warmly praised him as one of the funniest and most talented people they had ever worked with. Loretta shared that McLean Stevenson once wrote a script for the show and had an incredible ability to shift effortlessly from humor to seriousness. She recalled how he could make everyone burst into laughter and then, in the next moment, bring deep emotion to a scene. Loretta took a moment to express how special the cast of MASH was to her. Being the only woman in the main cast, she felt fortunate to work alongside such an intelligent, funny, and dedicated team. They weren't just performers, many of them also wrote scripts and helped shape the show's direction. She said the bond among them was strong, and they all worked together tirelessly to make MASH the success it became. When the host asked if they had ever expected MASH to turn into such a huge success, Loretta admitted they had not. In the beginning, they were simply hired to film a pilot episode. They didn't even have a complete script at first, only faith in each other and in their producer, Larry Gelbart. Over time, though, their efforts paid off. The cast grew closer, and the stories grew richer. Loretta mentioned that what really helped was the genuine friendship they all shared, not only on set but in their personal time as well. During the conversation, Larry and Loretta also opened up about their lives away from the show. Larry was married to the daughter of the well-known actor Will Gia, and the host commented on how much they admired Gia. Loretta talked about her recent travels to places like Australia and Tahiti and mentioned that she had just finished filming a television movie with McLean Stevenson again. She smiled as she recalled that McLean had sent the host a kiss and joked about the terrible things they used to do together on set, clearly enjoying the fond memories. Loretta also shared a light-hearted story about her dogs. She mentioned having 2 dogs, one of which had recently given birth to a litter of puppies, a mix of poodle and Pekingese she called peekapoos. Larry teased her about it, and they both laughed together. The interview then shifted to a more thoughtful discussion about acting itself. Larry explained that comedy is most powerful when it carries a kernel of truth. Loretta agreed, saying that a person who cannot feel sadness cannot truly feel joy either. For both of them, acting was about honesty, and sometimes that meant being willing to feel real emotions, including pain, in order to bring happiness to the audience. They spoke about the deep trust they shared as castmates. Loretta said they frequently gave each other advice and feedback, always putting the good of the show above personal egos. Everyone worked with the shared goal of making MASH the best it could be. Larry added that when brainstorming scripts or ideas, it never mattered who came up with the concept first, they were all focused on improving the show. Even ideas that initially seemed silly or unworkable sometimes led to something truly special. As the interview wrapped up, it became clear just how much respect Loretta Swit and Larry Linville had for each other and for the entire cast. They shared laughter, jokes, and gentle teasing, but beneath it all was a deep affection and professionalism that had carried them through their time on MASH. This old interview serves as a touching reminder of how special the cast truly was. They were more than just colleagues, they were a family. The playful back and forth between Loretta and Larry revealed not only their chemistry but also their deep appreciation for the craft of acting. Even in such a brief conversation, their bond and dedication to creating something meaningful were impossible to miss. In the years after the spotlight faded, Loretta Swit's life and career continued to reflect the strength of the bonds she had formed and the values she held dear. Her connection with Alan Alda and her quiet acts of kindness shaped the legacy she left behind. Loretta became a household name for her portrayal of Major Margaret "Hot Lips" Houlihan on the hit show MASH, but her career extended far beyond that single role. She made a difference both on screen and off, standing up for her beliefs and working tirelessly in every project she took on. Her talent earned her numerous awards, her friendship with Alan Alda endured through the decades, and her later years were filled with creativity, peace, and a deep commitment to animal welfare. While working on MASH, Loretta didn't limit herself to the way her character was originally written. She worked hard to ensure that Margaret was portrayed as a strong, intelligent woman, not just as a figure of comic relief. Over time, she helped shape the role into something much more meaningful, and audiences took notice. Her dedication paid off. From 1974 to 1983, Loretta was nominated 10 times for the Emmy Award for Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy, winning the award twice, in 1980 and again in 1982. She also received 4 Golden Globe nominations and won the People's Choice Award in 1983 as Favorite Female TV Star, the same year MASH concluded. She was one of the few cast members to stay with the series from its very first episode to its very last. One of the most meaningful friendships of Loretta's life came from her time on MASH. The close bond she shared with Alan Alda, along with the respect she earned from her castmates, reflected not just her talent but her integrity and kindness. Loretta Swit's journey, both in front of the camera and beyond it, was defined by hard work, compassion, and a deep love for her craft. Alan Alda, who portrayed Hawkeye, shared a special bond with Loretta. In the beginning, their characters often clashed on screen, but over time, they grew closer. Interestingly, their real-life relationship mirrored this transformation. Even long after the show had ended, they remained close friends, always showing mutual respect and working well together. Their characters shared a memorable kiss in the final episode, sparking curiosity among fans who wondered if there was a real-life romance between them. Yet, neither Alan nor Loretta ever confirmed such rumors. They kept the focus on their friendship and maintained a sense of privacy. Loretta once expressed that she trusted Alan like family, and he frequently praised her for her kindness and talent. When Loretta passed away, Alan Alda honored her memory with a touching tribute. He described her as more than just a talented actress, highlighting how she played a key role in shaping the character of Margaret. Loretta collaborated with the writers and fought for stronger, more meaningful storylines for women. Alan fondly recalled how proud they both felt when the script stopped referring to her as Hot Lips and instead used her real name, Margaret. For many fans, this heartfelt message offered a glimpse into the depth of their friendship and the lasting impact she had on the show. After her time on MASH, Loretta chose not to chase fame. Instead, she dedicated herself to the things she truly loved. She became an outspoken advocate for animal rights, adopting a vegetarian lifestyle in 1981 and later becoming vegan. Loretta worked closely with organizations like PETA, raised funds for animal shelters, and even brought rescue dogs to the MASH set during filming. In addition to her advocacy, Loretta had a deep appreciation for art. In 1986, she published a book showcasing her own needlepoint designs, and in 2017, she released another book featuring her watercolor paintings along with stories about her work with animals. These books offered a window into her true self, not as a Hollywood star, but as a quiet, compassionate woman who cared deeply about the causes she supported. Loretta once said, "I already have the world in my art. Why would I need someone else to witness it?" This simple yet profound statement reflected the way she lived in her later years, dedicated to painting, staying out of the public eye, and continuing to help animals in need. Loretta Swit's journey reminds us that true success isn't measured by fame or awards but by the courage to use your voice, stand up for what matters, and leave behind something meaningful. She helped change the way women were represented on television, remained committed to her values, and stayed authentic to herself until the very end. What are your thoughts on the legacy Loretta Swit left behind? Share them in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it inspiring. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and click on the next video displayed on your screen.